Publisher has to choose the price at which to sell a certain new book. The total profit T that the publisher will make depends on the price P. Decides to use a model to include the following assumptions. If the price is low, many copies will be sold, but the profit on each copy sold will be small and the total profit will be small. So price low, total profit small is the takeaway from that. And if the price is high, the profit will be high, but few copies will be sold and the total profit will be small there as well. And the graphs show two possible models. We're asked to explain why model A is inconsistent with one of the assumptions. Well, in model A, as the price increases, the profit increases. Which is inconsistent with the second assumption. So something along those lines. You could also say model A predicts if the price is high, then the profit is high, which again is inconsistent. Given that the equation of the curve of model B is quadratic, show that it is of the form shown and find the value of the constant k. Now we can't just be subbing in the equation, we actually have to show where it comes from. So there's a few different ways you can deal with this. You could write t as a general quadratic, ap squared plus bp plus c. Then sub in the points that we have, work out A, B, and C, and then factorize it. Now that is over the top in this case. We've got more information that's just going to make it more simple. Sometimes in these situations, you need to use the turning point, but in this case, we can see that there's going to be a factor P when we factorize. So actually, the best way to approach this is to use the roots. C is going to equal P times, well, I could write P minus 12, but actually it's a sad quadratic, so I'm going to write it as 12 minus P. Part of the reason I'm doing this is that I can see it in the final answer. If you write P minus 12, you'll just deal with it later on because you'll get a negative. And we also need an A here because it scales. There's lots of quadratics that would have these roots. So you should either get AP times 12 minus P or AP times P minus 12. You'll just get slightly different values of A. But if you can spot to do this, then even better. Since P equals 0 and P equals 12 are roots. I think it's good to say that because it's a show that question. Right, now I'm going to sub in the turning point. So 7,200 is going to equal A times 6 times 6, 36A, which means I can now divide through. A is going to be 200. And if you'd done it the other way around and got P minus 12, you would have got A as minus 200. It's not a big deal. So T is going to be 200 P 12 minus P. It's nearly in the form, but they've actually multiplied through to give 200, then 12P minus P squared. Find the value, let's just say K is equal to 200, just to clarify it, even though it's implied. Great. Publisher needs to make a total profit of at least 6,400. Use the equation found in B to find the range of values within which model B suggests that the price of the book must lie. So I'm just going to draw a little line on my graph, like here, for example. Okay, and this is where the profit is 6,400. So I'm going to get a minimum price and a maximum price, and it's going to be in between. Now you could set this up as an inequality, but in fact, it's going to be easier, I think, just to get an equation, solve it, and then we're going to see it's in between these two roots. So let's just set 200 times 12p minus p squared equal to 6,400 and divide through by 200. Well, actually, I can just cancel them out. I'm going to get 12p minus p squared equals 32. Rearrange that, p squared minus 12p plus 32 is equal to 0. And then this factorizes really nicely, of course. You can use your calculator if you prefer. P is equal to 4 or 8. So the price of the book's right. We need it to be at least 6,400. Okay, so it can include it as well. So therefore, we're going to have 4 less than or equal to P less than or equal to 8. Finally, comment briefly on how realistic model B may be in the following cases when P is 0 and when P is 12.1. So when P is 0, the prediction is that T equals 0, that there's no profit. But actually, if you try and sell all your books for no money whatsoever, you're going to lose money because it's going to cost money to actually publish the books in the first place. So I'm not going to write all of this down, but basically model unrealistic. The books will cost money to make, so selling them for nothing will lead to losses. Now, if we sell the books for £12.10, then the model predicts we make a loss. And actually, this is quite possibly realistic because there's going to be a point at which that you make the book too expensive and people just don't buy it. So this is this is realistic or potentially realistic as yeah, we could make a loss if we set the price too high. Well done.